Hi, welcome to Slate, your very own school search engine that helps you find the best schools for your kid based on various filters and parameters.
Today we have with us Miss Aarti, who works as a biology educator at the Crestwood High School, which is located in Bengaluru. To get to know more details about the school, let's have a conversation with her. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, sir.
So, ma'am, to begin with, can you start by telling a little about yourself? Like, how did you get into this particular field and why did you choose biology in particular?
Hi, first of all, my name is Aarti Thakur and I am a biology teacher at Crestwood High. I got into this field, when I was in school, I wasn't very appreciative of the profession, but as I got into my colleges, I had some really amazing teachers and professors who really helped me in not in just in academics, but sometimes as you get older, you start struggling with other facets of education and career, etc. And I feel like they helped me a lot and they were like a positive role models. And I feel like I realized that, oh my God, that the profession is really great. And I thought that I want to be something like that to kids. So yeah, that's what got me into the profession. And about my subject, I really, really love my subject genuinely. And I wish that when I'm teaching, the kids get to appreciate it as much as I do. So yeah, because I like the subject, I chose it.
What exactly is that excites you about this subject in particular, and how do you make sure that this subject comes alive for your students?
It's something that we see around us every day, biology, and it is very easy to relate with your everyday surrounding. So I feel like that helps me as an educator also, and as a student, I hope that they also can, when I'm teaching them something, it's something where they can start from. So you have seen this around you, or you might have experienced this. So when we start with an experience that they have felt it, I feel like they can relate it with better. And that definitely, and because I know they might have experienced it, that helped me as an educator to build the gap between whatever I'm trying to teach and what's happening around them. That's a big help. I feel like it's a bonus that the subject allows me to do that. So yeah, that makes my work definitely better.
Got it, ma'am. So, ma'am, as you teach biology for these particular grades, grade 7 to 10, can you share any experience where you felt like I have made a huge difference to this particular student and you've seen a great progress over a period of time?
Yeah, like a few of the time the kids have come up to me and just told me, like, as we start something, the subject itself has a very specific terminology that we have to follow in terms of the curriculum. Okay, the words are a little big and elaborate and complicated. So I always try to make a story of it or make a something fun like mnemonic or something like that, which make it easy, or just like a simple mnemonics of something they need to memorize. So I believe that makes them happy, and that helps them to memorize the names, which may sound some tricky. And I feel over the course of this, as we go through, if kids and come up to me when we're like, I thought the subject's going to be difficult, but it's easy because you taught the certain way, or telling that, okay, I love this subject now, I feel like that's a win for me.
Got it, ma'am. Can you share a particular topic that you actually went on to be creative in terms of your explanation? Anything that comes to your mind?
Yeah, okay. So in bio, we have this one topic called as classification, where we classify all the living organism into groups and groups. So I started it with them showing the pictures of library and getting onto the questions like, let's say I ask you to find a particular book in the library. How you gonna do it? Okay, so you will go to find first you'll see what genre of book it is. You'll go to that genre. It's a fiction, non-fiction, supernatural, thriller. And then in that section also, you'll find the particular author. You'll find the particular books are somewhat arranged in alphabetical order, which help you to find them easily. But let's say if it's a huge library and there is no classification of the books, it's not arranged properly, we won't be able to find it. So now similar sort of classification concept also applies in the living organism, where each and every living organism that you see is classified into particular order. And why is it important? Because classification also helps us to understand how they have evolved, how they reached where they have reached, and what are their relation with their ancestors or something which came after that. That's me relating the topic of classification with the library setup, which they might have done once, like they have been to a library and seen. And then there are these levels of classification comes into, it starts with phylum, class, family, order, genus, species. So something. So now these are the names they need to remember in a particular order. Okay, so then creating this mnemonic, which is keep pond clean or else fishes die. So K is kingdom, pond is phylum, clean is class. So similarly in the order, they can remember the statement, and from the first word of a statement, they can remember how the system is arranged itself. So that's one of the example.
Great. So in your experience, what are some of the most interesting topics in biology for students, especially in grade 7 to 10?
I think in biology, I love teaching them about flower, because then they can get get on to actually dissecting the flower and seeing the parts and then going and everything. Like, as we know, flower is the reproductive structure of the plant, so it will then produce fruit will have seeds. So all of these things we can very easily get into the class, like cut them open, see each and every part, like we can see the parts of flower very easily, and then we can get a fruit, we can show them the structure of fruit, we can get the seed, we can show them the structure of seed very easily. And then I also like the teaching chapter cell, because in that particularly they have this they get to make slides. They can make the slide of their cheek cell, they can make the slide of onion peel. So when they do it on their own and they see it under the microscope, they're like, wow. Like when they're creating something on their own, they're always very much excited. And then I also love to teach coordination, the nervous system and all, because it's like a game in the class when we make a chain of students and then give them some message and they have to process this, bring the output, and telling them how the pathway works in our body. I think those are like definitely my favorites.
That's great. Can you talk about the kind of support you get from the school in making your biology lessons more effective and engaging for students?
Let's say if we are studying about plants and all, in school particularly we have a garden. So anything plant related, we it's there outside. There are a variety of flowers if I need to take. And it is a garden, so we can take the students out in the garden and do some of the experiments that need to see outside. And that's just a like infrastructure of the school. And other than that also, like we have lab in school, and every time kids get to leave the classroom and go to the lab, they are always excited about it. So of course that's a part of school structure. And then other than that, if there is any support or any thing we need from the class, like the school has provided us flexibility in order to design the class which will be better for the students. So if any sort of support is required in that, any material we need to indent for it, school help with that.
Got it, ma'am. So can you also talk about if a particular student assumes struggling with biology, so what kind of support schools can actually provide so that that particular student can understand the concept in a better way?
In regular teaching, we try like definitely to employ a variety of methods, okay, like depending upon the situation or the need. So it's not just like sometimes it's discussion, sometimes it's activity, sometimes it's lab or experimentation. And I think the one thing struggle here is to get the attention of the students, especially again, like I said, in my subject it's very easy because I can take them to the labs, and when they are doing the things on their own, when they are involved with the hands and all, their attention is little more in the subject. So that helped them to build the like grasp the concept a little better. And then again also we have like a variety of tools, like we can use ICTs and like audiovisual aids for them. And again, if it's like we need to constantly monitor their progress and appreciate when they are doing any sort of good work, which definitely help to build their confidence.
Got it. So as the technology keeps on updating every day, so what kind of technical tools that you use to make your lessons more engaging and interesting for students? And what kind of support you get from schools in this aspect?
We have smart boards in the class, so we use them whenever it's required for the subject. And of course, there's so much buzz around the artificial intelligence. It's definitely help us also because I can search that. Is that like, let's say I'm stuck at a topic and I'm not able to figure out something interesting related to it. I can always search, like it can give me like more interactive ways in which I can apply in my subject, which helps me with the subject. So I believe technology has definitely helped us in a sense designing the lesson in a way which is more engaging or more like interactive for the students.
Yeah. Can you also talk about the kind of group activities or projects you conduct that can actually play a big role in understanding biology lessons? And how do you think students are able to cope up with these activities and the kind of progress that you're observing because of this?
Activities starting from the very basic, which we can do every day in our classroom, is like some sort of index card puzzling in which we'll give them one part and they'll have to find its counterpart in the classroom. That's like very basic. Other than that, in the subject itself, because it's biology, there are a lot of activities which are mentioned in the textbooks or which we can also find additionally to that, which are a part of active experimentations. And we give them project works or like some in which they have to do some research or like building things in the classroom. For example, is like last week we made a DIY stethoscope in the class with some pipes and balloons, and it worked. They could hear their heartbeats, etc. So I feel like there is a DIY version of a lot of things which we study in biology. So just like as much as possible, you doing that in classroom, especially school now that it's a part of CBSE that you need to have a Bagless day in a month. So every Bagless day is like we ensure that day we have some sort of activity in which kids are building things on their own, doing something which is not just regular studies or not just like lecture or discussion.
Got it. So what kind of suggestions do you often give to parents that can actually help a particular student understand the concepts or the kind of homework they need to do from there and to make the student job easier at home?
I mean, the very basic would be to like practice things. I mean, again, in the subject, particularly sciences in general or biology, there are a lot of typical terms or typical words and scientific words which are very important because eventually it comes down to how you write it in the paper. If we are just like taking the marks part of it, or like the more they practice it, they like just like if it's a complicated term, just write it a few times, pronounce it more and more. And then, of course, subject wise, particularly is asking them to do a lot of like diagram practice because diagrams are a huge part of biology itself. And like how much ever is studied in the class, just go home and just for the starter, just go through it. It doesn't have to be like full blown memorization on the same day, but just going through it on the same day so that it just build a connection between what I taught in the class and what they study in the textbook, which help them at least correlate, oh yeah, the teacher said this and that's what mentioned, it makes sense. And sometimes what happen, like if they're doing this, they might find some doubt also, okay, oh, teacher said this but something else is mentioned, so that can instill a sort of like curiosity, and the next day they can come up and ask for doubt. And when you're asking doubt like one-on-one, it's more of like a better relation, because that's, I'm not addressing the whole class, I'm addressing the child and particularly, and it builds a connection and it helps them to solve their doubt a little better.
Got it. So to conclude our interview, if you have to highlight a particular USP of the school, suggesting why should parents choose this school in particular, what would it be?
School, like our team is good. We have good people in our team. Our principal ma'am is very supportive and she's a very experienced person in the field. She's very knowledgeable, very resourceful. Any sort of like doubt we have in general, we can go up to her and she can definitely add to our, like she add her knowledge to it and we can come up with a creative answer. So there's like, we have her guidance, and then the team, the teacher, everybody is very qualified and they are very creative on their own. So everybody has the best of the students in their heart. And then school infrastructure is great. There is like a huge array of co-curricular activities. The school offers drama, dance, theatre, and a variety of sports activities as well. So I think schools are all about this holistic development, not just academics. So I feel like we have a balance of both academics as well as the co-curriculars. So I think that makes the school a good choice.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining and sharing some of the great insights about the school and your journey so far.
Yeah, thank you very much.